Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program The Journey Begins Part 27. You join us once again in orbit over Duna, nearly 2 years on in game time after we last met, and the supply situation is starting to look a little bleak. Our Kerbals have finished off all the decent booze and they're on to the Perno for God's sake, so it's really time to bring them home. So we plotted a course back to Kerbin, once again using Alex Moon's rather brilliant transfer calculator, link in the description. And so it just leaves us to wait with bated breath until the moment we can begin our burn arrives. Then we fire up those engines and begin our 3-minute burn. Just a short one as opposed to the 10-minute burn that took us away from Kerbin, and the 8-minute burn which put us into orbit around Duna, where I really should have used some aero braking, but well, you live and learn. After a bit of fine-tuning and tweaking, we get ourselves a decent intercept with Kerbin, and then we are off, departing the red planet. So I suppose we need to find a way to kill about 260 days worth of game time now. So to that end, here we are blasting off from the KSC with one of our Mark III shuttles at 4 times time acceleration because, well, this shuttle still doesn't quite behave itself as it should, still wobbling about all over the place, although I think it's getting a little better than it was, so that's good news. Anyway, aboard for today's mission we have Kerdard, Gwemby and Johnny Kerman to assist us with our endeavours, and, well, what endeavours are those? Well, I was having a little rummage around in the R&D department, and I found a science experiment that I don't think I've ever used before, so I strapped it on top of a probe, whacked it into the cargo bay of this shuttle, and we're going to go up and have a little experiment and see what it is and what it does. I did take it into low Kerbin orbit earlier and had a little play about with it, but it very quickly became apparent that that just wasn't going to cut the mustard when it came to this particular piece of science equipment. So as we push our apoapsis up to the desired altitude and cut our main engines, it's time to step things down to live commentary so you can learn what this science experiment is and I can learn what the hell it actually does. Okay, so we've gone a bit higher than I normally do, mainly because I wasn't paying attention that closely to how high our apoapsis is going to end up, but not to worry, we're still looking pretty good. I'm going to get our shuttle pointing towards the prograde marker. Not got a lot of fuel left in these tanks, shouldn't be a problem though. Where are we? 1 minute and 41 away from apoapsis. Let's get ourselves time accelerating forwards a bit. Then we can cast off our external fuel tanks. I'm just going to start burning gently, just to start raising that periapsis. And when it gets down to about 30,000 meters above sea level, then we'll ditch them as per usual. That's assuming the fuel lasts that long. Well, I don't know, it's looking quite good. Looking quite good so far. Yeah, so been a long wait, been a lot of game time passed between the last episode and this one. Mainly just trying to burn off that time to till we can make our burn with the Ptolemy, burn with that Duna vehicle, set it on its way home. We're gonna have to perform another maneuver just to make sure it's coming in the right way to get the correct orbit around Kerbin, but that's sort of minimal stuff. It shouldn't take very long. How are we doing? 10,000, 20,000. As I said, get to about 30,000, then we'll get rid of these tanks and we can start burning. Oh, there goes the camera. Yeah, we'll fire those off there, and we can start our burn. Oh, our time to apoapsis was increasing there, so it's burning up. So we were burning a little hard. Maybe need to get ourselves a little closer to apoapsis so that doesn't happen. About 765. That's more like it. Probably burn a little harder. That'll do us. Let's get ourselves turned around. So I don't know why I wanted to circularize this orbit so perfectly. Force of habit, I suppose, because the first thing we're going to do is actually burn up to get ourselves higher. Going to go for about 250,000 meters, a little over, because well, our payload's going to want a bit of a kick. It's going to want us to put as much energy into it as possible using the shuttle's fuel before it has to rely on its own fuel. The reason will become apparent a little later. We can start burning a little more aggressively there. 190,000. So yeah, very long wait. I had to do numerous downloads from the science lab aboard the Aristotle, aboard our space station. Just going to time accelerate us round to the other side. Had to get the Mark II shuttle out, do another little trip up there, just like we did last time with the Mark III shuttle, just to top it up with science data. Just make sure it can continue producing new science for us. Whilst the Ptolemy is on its way home, we want you to turn around so you're pointing prograde. But it's all good. We're all topped up. That should see us through nicely until the Ptolemy's home. So yeah, we are so close to the end now. At the moment, I think we're looking at probably 2 more episodes after this one. Let's get ourselves a little further forward. Just time acceleration. Yeah, because next time will probably be the Ptolemy arriving back at Kerbin. Then I think I've planned out how I want the final episode to go. Obviously, I'll be putting some more thought into that, just to make sure if there's anything even more suitable crops up, just kind of comes to mind, then of course I might change it. But no, I think I've got a pretty good idea of how I want the next how I want the series to pan out from here. And of course, once that's finished, we start with our new schedule. We start with once a week of the KSP videos and once or twice a week of something else. Oh, burning a little hard there. Trying to circularize our orbit, trying to give our payload as much energy as is possible, as I said, before it has to switch to its own fuel. That will do, and I think we should probably start time accelerate round into daylight so we can actually see what we're doing. I think that should probably do us. So what do we have here? If I'll actually have a point prograde. Well, what we have here is a little satellite. We've basically unlocked all the main science experiments now. So there's nothing really that new for us to do. There's a couple of the science experiments that are part of the Interstellar pack that I haven't really looked at, but they're a bit awkward. They're very specific in what they need to function in order to take the science. So we're just going to, well, this one's pretty specific as well, but we're going to take a look at it. This is the Sentinel Infrared Telescope. Is this part of the? I think this is part of stock rather than Interstellar. But this is, well, I'm not sure what it does. I haven't used it before. But all I know is that in order to, can you log observation data? Yes, you can. Well, space high over Kerbin. Actually, we should probably take that here and bring that back. Can we transfer the data? I'm going to get our scientist out. Johnny Kerman. There's a name, etc., etc., etc. Let's get you back out this way. Don't bump your head on the shuttle there, Johnny boy. Can we grab the science from you? We cannot collect the science with a scientist. Well, that was a pointless waste of time, wasn't it? Let's get you back aboard the shuttle. Where are we? Oh, not too high, not too high. You're gonna be able to grab onto that. There we go. So you can't collect the science from this. This is probably a recovery only thing then. So we are going to reset that. We can probably get something better at some point. Yes. So anyway, let's detach this and get her going. Now, as I said, I'm not entirely sure what this does, because if it's now an independent thing, so we need to switch to it. Let's see which way. Wrong way. There we go. I've played about with this a bit. We need to be on a solar orbit, so that is what we're going to do. We're going to go and put this onto a solar orbit. Only just, though. Where are we? So that we can bring it back if needs be, collect any science. Yeah, the shuttle will be fine there for the moment. So this is the Sentinel Infrared Telescope. So first things first, we need to plot our course. So that is prograde going around Kerbal. Yep. So we are going to want to start burning. I'd imagine around about there. And then we don't need that much. What's that? 820? Yeah, that's pretty good. So that is our course laid in. We can turn off the RCS now, and yeah, let's should probably save a bit of time if we get ourselves pointed towards our maneuver node now. Then we can fire this thing off into orbit above Kerbal and see what it does. Let's, as I said, we'll leave the shuttle there for the moment. It's in a stable orbit, it'll be fine. Where are we? 14, 13, 12. Ooh, it's not giving us an estimated burn time because I need to, that's activated. I need to turn on that. It's giving us a burn time of 44 seconds. Lovely stuff. So about 22 seconds either side of the maneuver node. 50, 40, 30. Bring it right down. Yeah, we're ready to go. Let's see what this little thing does. Does it provide us with lots more science? Sadly I suspect not. It's not one of the major parts that's talked about as a decent science. As a decent science gathering experiment within the KSP community. So, but I'm sure it'll be interesting no matter what it is. What's our burn doing? 400 meters per second of delta V to go. 300. I'll keep this in a reasonably close orbit to Kerbin. That way it should be relatively easy to bring it back and recover it. Just gently do the rest. And we're off! Yeah, so let's just really quickly time accelerate ourselves forwards. 10,000. Let's go up to 100,000. Let's push the boat out. And we're back to 50 times. So there's our orbit. And I want to have the option of bringing it back down to Kerbin. We want to stick fairly close by to Kerbin, so we want to bring our orbital. Let's bring up the orbital thing from, say, orbital period 1 year, 82 days. So now bring time acceleration down all the way. I want to just gradually... What's wrong with you? Why can't I fire up? Why are you not... There we go. Oh, I was panicking for a second there. You need the antenna extended for it to actually work, but we are good there. It's got a fairly hefty range in it, more than I probably needed if I was going to keep it relatively close to Kerbin. But what we want to do is bring this down. Bring our orbital period down to as close to a year as we can get it, and then we should remain close enough to Kerbin that we can bring it back if needs be, get it back into a nice little parking orbit around Kerbin. Still got loads of delta V, that shouldn't be a problem. Might even try a tiny bit of aero braking if we have to do that, but yeah, not a good thing to do on something with plenty of delicate parts. I'm sure it'll be fine. 40. Yeah, you need to give this a bit of juice, don't you? Where are we? 4, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, we can see we've already got an encounter going. A little over 0.8 of a second per orbit per year. I think that's close enough. Oh, we actually do have an encounter that we kind of can't get away from. Well, I'm sure that'll be good. We may just bring this back anyway if that's what is the case. Where are we? 30. We get 30 here, so maybe bring that back, and now we can start our object tracking. Sentinel Infrared Telescope is now mapping it. It maps asteroids near Kerbin orbit. I see. So it gives us a more complete view of the asteroids. That's something we haven't done during this playthrough. Is actually go and look at asteroids and go and see if we can intercept one. And once you scrape the barrel for all the other science near Kerbin, that might have been an idea. But yeah, for now, I think maybe if we pick this series up, that'll be something on the list. Go and look at some of these near Kerbin objects. But for the moment, we have the answer to our question. It just scans for asteroids for you, which is nice. Oh, I've actually still got the RCS on, hasn't I? So we will leave that because our encounter will be another 35 days. I think we need to do another transmission of science from our... let's get Kerbin. I think we need to do another transmission of science from our space station before then. But in the meantime, let's go and visit our shuttle. Let's get you all packed away. Let's get rid of you. Where are we? Show engine. How do we get rid of this bit? Flight engineer. Why are you showing over there? There we go. Thank you. That was weird. Okay, so our mission for today is successful. We've checked out a new scientific instrument. Now we're just waiting for the return of the Ptolemy, or the return of our Duna vehicle. And that's it, nearly done. Sad face. Anyway, let's get this shuttle returned to Kerbin to close out the episode. And so our shuttle and its hardy crew make their way home to Kerbin. They start with the series of manoeuvres to lower their orbit, and then they slip into Kerbin's atmosphere. The re-entry goes by without a hitch, the shuttle generally performing better on the way down than it does on the way up, which is quite handy because Re-entries can go quite badly wrong if you're not careful, but before too long, we are on our final approach to the KSC, and shortly after that, we are touching down on the runway safe and sound, and that will be that for today. I do hope you've enjoyed it, everybody. So the end is well and truly in sight, but for now, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time.